Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to peel back the dense green layers of the world's most famous jungle. We all know the Amazon is the lungs of the earth, right? This vast, totally untamed wilderness. But as we're going to see today, the true story of this landscape is far more complex, a bit more dangerous, and honestly, incredibly surprising. Scientists are just now uncovering secrets that were completely unexplainable until very recently. So, before we get into the heavy realities of what's happening to the forest today, I want you to hold on to this fascinating question as we journey deep into the shadows of the canopy. What if the Amazon isn't just a product of random, natural evolution, but actually bears the hidden fingerprints of ancient human engineering? Let's dive right into the data.
Section 1. The Green Giant Scale.
To truly understand this jungle, we first have to wrap our heads around its sheer, mind-boggling magnitude. The Amazon basin covers roughly 5.5 million square kilometers, spilling across 9 different South American countries, with about 60% of it sitting squarely in Brazil. To put that massive number into perspective, you could take the entirety of the European continent, minus Russia, and just drop it right into the Amazon basin, and you'd literally still have room to spare. That massive footprint is exactly why it's the most vibrant biological engine on Earth. It holds roughly 10% of all known plant and animal species on the planet. We are talking over 40,000 plant species, 1,300 bird species, and a staggering variety of mammals and fish. And that's just what we actually know about. Scientists estimate there are countless species deep in the forest that haven't even been discovered yet. Yet get this, right in the middle of this impenetrable wilderness sits the Brazilian city of Manaus, which is home to over 2 million people. Think about that for a second. A massive, bustling metropolis completely enveloped by jungle. Because building standard roads through this terrain is nearly impossible, these millions of people rely almost entirely on complex river networks to get around. The river isn't just a scenic feature, it is the highway system. Section 2. Forging the Amazon River. Now, this incredible landscape wasn't always a lush rainforest. Its origin is actually a massive geological drama. Going back about 100 million years, South America and Africa were attached. As they split apart, early river systems in South America actually flowed west into the Pacific Ocean. But when tectonic plates violently clashed, the mighty Andes Mountains were pushed upward. This massive geological wall essentially blocked the westward flowing river. With nowhere to go, the water formed a massive inland megalake. Over thousands of years, that giant wetland birthed the sprawling tropical rainforest we recognize today. Today, the resulting Amazon River is an absolute titan. It stretches for about 6,400 kilometers. But what's truly staggering is the sheer volume of water. The Amazon carries roughly 20% of all the river freshwater that enters the Earth's oceans. It pushes so much fresh water out into the Atlantic that it actually lowers the salinity of the ocean for hundreds of miles off the coast.
Section 3. The Deadly Ecosystem.
This massive river nourishes a living machine that is as beautiful and precise as it is intensely lethal. If you're standing on the forest floor, it is surprisingly dark, and that's because of the canopy, a dense, continuous green roof towering 60 to 70 meters above the ground. Sunlight barely penetrates it. Because of this massive biological ceiling, the forest is divided into separate stacked vertical worlds, each teeming with highly specialized predators. Down in that dark, extreme humidity, it's absolutely survival of the fiercest. You've got jaguars possessing a bite force so incredibly powerful they can crush right through a turtle shell. You have enormous green anacondas growing up to 30 feet long, and ironically, some of the most dangerous creatures are the absolute smallest, like vividly colored poison dart frogs packing enough toxin in their tiny bodies to take down several adult humans. And man, beware the water and the insects. The electric eel can deliver a staggering 600-volt shock to stun its prey. To put that into perspective, that is more than double the voltage of a standard 240-volt home outlet. And on land, you have the infamous bullet ant, widely classified as having the most painful insect sting on the entire planet. Every single species here has evolved incredible, often deadly defense mechanisms. But here's the wild part. Despite how fierce it is, these lethal layers work in perfect harmony. Take a process called transpiration. The forest literally sweats. The billions of trees in the Amazon release roughly 20 billion tons of water vapor into the air every single day. This condenses and falls back down, meaning the Amazon literally generates its own constant rainfall. Section 4. Secrets under the canopy.
For decades, we thought this harsh, acidic environment was just too wild for large human civilizations to ever take root. Well, modern technology completely rewrote that history. By mounting LiDAR equipment on aircraft and shooting thousands of laser pulses through gaps in the trees, scientists digitally stripped away that green roof. And what they found was absolutely stunning. The lasers illuminated the footprints of massive, highly organized lost civilizations. We're talking perfectly straight road networks, geometric village patterns, huge earthen platforms, and incredibly complex water management canals. It proved that millions of people actually lived here before European diseases like smallpox tragically swept through and wiped them out, leaving the jungle to swallow their cities whole.
What's even more incredible is how they survived. Normal rainforest soil is actually notoriously terrible for agriculture. Heavy rains just wash the nutrients right away. But these ancient engineers created something called terra preta, or black earth. By meticulously mixing charcoal, bone, and organic waste into the ground over generations, they engineered a super fertile soil that remains highly productive hundreds of years later. It's a feat modern science still struggles to fully replicate.
So the takeaway here is that the Amazon isn't just wild, untouched nature. Large pockets of it are effectively an ancient, overgrown garden, ingeniously designed by indigenous peoples. And brilliantly, this charcoal-based terra preta system has trapped carbon for centuries. It's a true masterpiece of human innovation. Which brings us to Section 5, the point of no return. Today, this magnificent balance of deep geological history and ancient human ingenuity is facing rapid, man-made destruction. The primary drivers are pretty clear. Huge swaths of forest are being burned for cattle ranching, and millions of hectares are leveled for soy farming, most of which is actually exported as animal feed. Add in illegal logging and illegal mining operations that dump toxic chemicals like mercury straight into the river systems. Make no mistake, the scale of this loss is hard to even comprehend. Satellite data shows the forest vanishing at a rate of several football fields every single minute. This isn't just about losing trees, it's destabilizing a global climate system. The Amazon acts as a massive carbon sink for the whole planet, and it's being rapidly dismantled. And this all builds to what scientists are gravely warning us about, the tipping point. It's a terrifying ecological domino effect. First, extreme deforestation happens. Then, we see a massive drop in transpiration. The forest stops sweating. Without that moisture, the self-generating rainfall stops. The entire basin begins to massively dry out. And finally, the lush rainforest irreversibly collapses into a dry savanna. Once that threshold is crossed, there is absolutely no coming back.
Right now, the fate of the Amazon is caught in a highly complex geopolitical tug-of-war. On one hand, Western nations are pushing hard for strict conservation to save the global climate. On the other hand, Brazil views this vast land as absolutely crucial for its own domestic economic development and poverty reduction. It is a very tense balancing act between global environmental demands and national economic sovereignty.
The clock is definitely ticking. This forest is an irreplaceable marvel of biology, geology, and lost human history. We are left to ask ourselves, will the world navigate these complex politics and find a way to protect this ancient, life-giving machine? Or are we going to push it past the point of no return? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.